So Beauty Pie just released 3 new fragrances, and I feel like they're kind of doing a fragrance overhaul, which I really appreciate. I know they're not watching my videos, or if they are, it would be a huge surprise to me, but when I did my Beauty Pie fragrance video where I went over all of their available fragrances, probably about a year or so ago I did this video, I mentioned in that video that I wish the fragrances were more like their candle selection, like more sophisticated scents that could also maybe lean a little bit unisex, that were just rich and beautiful scents. And last year around the holidays, they came out with, I have it over there, it's the Un Ballad, I don't know. It's their sort of orange and pine tree scent, and they came out with that last year, and I really loved it. I felt like they were on the right track. So when they came out with these new fragrances, I looked at the notes, and it was kind of a no-brainer for me. There were a couple of notes in the fragrances that gave me a little bit of pause, but I felt like overall I would really enjoy the notes. So I want to start first with the one that was marked limited edition. And again, I don't know how to pronounce anything in French, so I'm going to butcher it. But Posse Deschief? I have no idea what it means. But it has fresh mint, marshmallow, splash of lemon, cocoa flower, freesia petals, clary sage, vanilla bean, sandalwood, sugared cedar, and patchouli in it. So here it is. I like the fact that they kind of kept with the whole apothecary vibe on the bottles. They're just nice little glass bottles with the magnetic caps. I really like that. But I do want to point out that the cost of their fragrance has gone up. This bottle costs around $30. I'll have exact prices here on the screen. But they're smaller, and before their fragrances were around 25 to 30, and they were double in size to this. So I was never going to get through the other fragrances anyway, because I didn't like any of the scents, but I did want to point out that the bottles are smaller now, you know, and they're a little bit more expensive. Also though, with that, their membership is a little bit more affordable now as well, so maybe that has something to do with it, but either way, for a good quality fragrance, $30 is not a whole lot to spend. This reminds me so much of Thierry Mugler's Angel. And that one is also kind of hard for me. It's a sort of, if I remember correctly, it's got tons and tons of different fruits in it, but like a sugary patchouli scent. And sometimes with those burnt sugar smells, I smell it and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so yummy. And then other times it almost smells like burnt plastic to me. And this kind of has like the same sort of thing. And I think that that's just a hormonal thing with myself. I don't hear anybody else saying that. And your hormones do affect the way you smell things. But it could also be the fact that it has all of those scents and the patchouli and the sage in it. I find anything like herbally sometimes, if it's quite herbally in a fragrance, or like even pine mixed with like a sweetness, it can kind of give off that same sort of smell. Like I find that juniper also does the same thing. But I did wear this last night and I thought it was beautiful, so I really enjoyed it. The next one is Figuier de Dalmatia. I don't know. So this one has bergamot oil, blood orange oil, mandarin oil, gardenia, frangipani flower, figwood, vanilla, and heliotrope. This one reminds me so much of their previous heliotrope scent, but like they've improved upon it. So heliotrope to me smells like expensive suntan lotion. And that is exactly what this is giving. It's like a nice creamy sort of suntan lotion. You get a little bit of the orange in it. So I appreciate that this is less floral than their last heliotrope scent. It's still got some floral in it. But to me, this just smells like a sweet, creamy sort of suntan lotion, a little bit sophisticated. I will say though, I spray it, because I have it here on this arm. I spray it and I get it quite a bit at first, and I don't know if I'm just going nose blind to it or if it just disappears from the skin that quickly, because I sprayed it probably an hour or so ago on my skin and then it's barely there. I just resprayed it, but it's a beautiful replacement to that one. If you really enjoyed that one, I think you'll like this one and possibly even like it a little bit more. There was like an odd sort of like synthetic creaminess in their last scent that had heliotrope in it that it was almost headache inducing for me, and I just couldn't wear it. And I feel like their last one went a little bit more clean laundry / powdery, and this one doesn't do that. It just smells like a nice, cool, like tropical breeze. Like where you get a lot of like the flowers and all that stuff in it. Like, to me, this smells beautiful. All right, and then the last one I have here is Angelique's Letters. Oh my gosh, one that I can pronounce. Super appreciate that. So this one is the most interesting to me and the one that I like the most. It has lemon, bergamot oil, sweet tobacco, jasmine, cinnamon, clove, cedarwood, musk, and vanilla. So I noticed across the board in all three of these scents that they all contain vanilla and citrus. So that's kind of interesting to me. But I mean, those are like super common. All right, this arm. So this dries down. So I have the dry down on my arm now, and I'm gonna spray it for the top here in a second, but it's a nice, subtle, a little bit now on the dry down of the citrus, but it's definitely a beautiful light wood scent. And not the wood scent to where you're like, oh, that's wood, but like a beautiful light wood scent, almost like smelling a book. So I really like that. And it's sweet, but when you first spray it, you get the citrus, like quite a bit. And there's like a sort of antiqued musky smell to it in the best way. So it's not like a dank smell. It just got that beautiful antique musty smell mixed with the citrus. And by the way, the citrus in this one isn't like a, I don't know, kind of bright sort of beachy summery citrus. It's a sort of warm, sweet citrus. It's beautiful. This is my favorite out of all three of these. It's so good. They've improved upon their fragrances so much from their initial release. And I don't know if they switched perfumers. If they did, I'll have it here on the screen. But I just wanted to get this video up as soon as I got them. So I can't really tell you a whole lot about the longevity, except for the fact that they did seem to fade pretty quickly. Last night I wore the other one to bed, and I could smell it kind of like throughout the night and things like that on me. So I feel like the limited edition one, this one stays a little bit longer on the skin. And I feel like the initial scent of the Angelique's Letters goes away, which is absolutely beautiful. It's like such a nice, warm, sweet citrus. And then it kind of dries down to a woody scent, which is also interesting about this. When I initially spray it and I kind of get that citrus, that sweet citrus mixed with like that sort of like vintage musky smell. That vintage musky smell goes away like almost immediately. Like you get it with the initial spray and then it's gone. And then it's just citrus for a while, like a nice sweet citrus. And then you get like the sort of warm, light wood scent. So this one is beautiful. Like you get completely almost like different smells from the top, the mid, and the dry down. And all three of them are beautiful. Like you don't have to wait for the scent to kind of change and get better. They're different and they change, but like all three are just good. Like the top, the mid, and the dry down. And I'll say that like this one dries down the limited edition to be kind of like sweet. And it really is just like a nice sweet scent. I would say that if you are interested in this one, you're going to be interested in it if you were interested in Terry Mugler Angel. And if you have Terry Mugler Angel, you do not need this. They're so similar. The heliotrope one, which is this. Again, if you were missing their heliotrope scent from before, replace it with this. It's a better version of it. And it just, to me, smells like an expensive tropical vacation where you've kind of got the breeze and you're just hanging out. Because it's not a sort of cheap suntan lotion smell. It's more along the lines, it almost reminds me of like the Guerlain. Actually, this is a less powdery version of the Guerlain. Hold on a second, I'll grab it. Okay, yes. It is very similar to the Guerlain Terracotta. So if you were kind of wanting this one, or kind of like wanting that whole vibe of like expensive beach vacation, or like older woman with money beach vacation, that's the scent that this also gives off. I wouldn't say, like, this is a little bit fruitier in the top. It's kind of the dry down that makes them similar. I wouldn't say that this is a dupe for this, but it definitely gives off the same vibes like when you're wearing it. And Angelique's letters, I'm sure there's something that it's similar to, but I just don't have anything similar. I just think it's beautiful. The citrus stands out, like, because right now it's still on the citrus, but when the citrus goes away, it's just going to be like a nice sort of sweet wood scent. So anyway, I know this video was all over the place with me like grabbing stuff and all that, but these are obviously new scents to me. I'm really enjoying them. I hope Beauty Pie keeps going in this direction. I was getting a little bit discouraged for a while because I felt like they weren't really coming out with anything good. And they were discontinuing the stuff that I really liked just from their makeup. So I am so happy about these. If you are curious about other Beauty Pie scents that I have reviewed in the past, I will have those videos linked down below and probably up here in the eye at some point throughout the video. I will talk to you guys in the next one.
I'm a sucker for your love.